Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of my game dev diary for this roguelike project. Couple of things to let you know about. I think since the last video I am probably about 7 hours more dev time, so a lot of work has gone on. As you can see, those chests, which I'll be coming back to later. I've changed the background now for the dungeon. I wanted it darker than the walls up the top, so the walls up here were actually lighter than the floor. I thought it looked a bit weird, so I thought it looked a bit better, and I think it does with the darker floor. Exploring the dungeon seems to be working well, and the zombie's in as well, so if we go near a zombie it should chase us around the map. And also now, if you die, you get the death screen and then you're taken back to the start. So quite a lot done there. And then you see those chests. Well, what I've been doing for the past 7 hours or so is creating the inventory screen. So when you press I on the keyboard, you can see you have here, and you have your health stats, your strength, your luck, and then your armor. Armor hasn't really been implemented yet. Health, the only one that is linked up to anything. Strength and luck don't do anything at the minute. Then you have your food and torches, which don't do anything at the minute either, but are included. So if we hit a chest, then we can see there's a crown, and that's going to be part of the magic items set. And then here is the sword, which is the weapons set. Red chests are specifically weapon chests. Sorry, red chests are weapon chests. So if we open up the inventory now, we can see that the crown has gone to our magic items equipped part, and then our swords we picked up, one has been equipped. If we click on it, then we can see the stats. We've got the weapon type, the weapon level, the minimum damage, the max damage, attack speed, and the slash type. Those are all randomly generated. So hopefully if we go to this one, then we see it's still level 1. The min damage has changed, I think, and the max damage has changed. Attack speed and slash type are the same. And then the crown actually picked up the highest item level you can get at the minute is 2 above the current level, and the level will probably be decided on how far you're in the dungeon, and we're at level 1, so this is actually the highest. So it was a good roll in the random item table, and we got an item level 3. It's going to give us a bonus to strength. It's not linked up at the minute, and the stat is +3 strength. So if we open the other chests, then we see you have a magic scroll, another magic scroll, another magic scroll. These are all random, by the way, so if we opened it up and did the same again, we get different items, and these go into our inventory slots. So you can see if we click on this, it's a scroll, it's a fire scroll, levels 2, and creates fireballs that damages enemies. The only scroll type I have implemented at the minute is fire, and the only magic item I have implemented is the crown, but the crown different stats. You can get strength, health, luck upgrades at the minute. So that's what I've been working on. Pretty pleased with how it's turned out. These type of things always take quite a while to set up the kind of basics, and then take quite fiddly with a lot of conditional to set up the infantry screen. So I will kind of show you the brief overview of what's going on with the inventory. So the main one is the infantry background, which is just an actor. So you can see here it's just a big massive actor that's the size of the screen, and it's blank. And then also we have these actors, which are the highlighted ones. So it creates, you can see there's no animation, it looks like it's blank. So these are actually transparent actors that cover each of the selection boxes. So it then can register if a mouse is clicked onto it, and if a mouse is clicked onto it, then it can tell us what item we want to look in the description window. So I'll start off with the chest, and just so you can see the process of what's going on. So once you bump into a chest, if we look at the behaviors, we have the chest behavior. So you, just again the normal boolean for colliding, to make sure you can only collide once. So once it collides with the player character, that's the boolean to make sure it can only do it once. Then create a random number between 0 and 100, and if it's less than 33, then trigger event weapon spawn and random weapon spawner. If it's less than 66 but greater than 33, then it creates an item spawn, which would be the crown, the magic item spawner. Or if it's less than 101 but greater than 66, then create a scroll. We don't need the 2 kill selves, so we'll take one of them out. So that's the kind of like dice roll to decide which of the either weapon, magic item, or scroll to spawn. Pardon me. We'll look at the random weapon spawner first. So we go to random weapon spawner, which is a scene behavior, and then at the minute I've got a sword, but I'm going to have, I think, a sword, a wand, hammer, a crossbow, so different types of weapons. At the minute it's only sword implemented, so then it's going to change, this bit's going to do a dice roll and decide which weapon is spawned, and at the minute it's just a sword. So we'll look what happens when the sword is created. So we'll go to the sword actor. So we've got sword in game, which is the sword IG, and then the sword, which is just a bigger image basically for displaying in the inventory screen. So this is the one that appears once you bump into a chest, and we'll look at the weapon stat maker. So again, it's got that first collide thing in, so you can't collide with it straight away. It takes half a second for you to be able to collide with it, so that is to make sure that once you bump into a chest, you don't straight away bump into the sword. You can see what it is to start off with, and then I'll set, when it's created, it'll check what weapon type it is, and it'll display the animation according to the weapon type. And this is the this bit's the main code for the for the spawning the stats of the weapon. So do a dash roll between 1 and 100. This is for the weapon level. If it's less than 20, then it is going to be taken away from the level. So our level is 1, but if level is equal to 0 or less than 0, set level to 1. So that means if you're level 3 and on the dice roll it was less than 20, you'd actually get a level 2 weapon. And then if it's less than 80 but greater than 20, then you just set it, the weapon level to whatever level we're going at. So that means that as you go deeper into the dungeon and as the level increases, so maybe every 2 floors of the dungeon I'll go up 1 level or something like that, haven't really decided, you're going to get better weapons spawning. If it's less than 90 but greater than 80, then you get a level +1. Otherwise, if it's greater than 90, basically it's going to be a level +2. And then we do the same for the min damage. If it's less than 30, then set random number 2 between weapon level and weapon level times 5, and then set min damage to weapon level times 10 minus this. So for weapon levels 1, then basically this could be between 1 and 5, and then the weapon level would be 1, so it's 10 minus whatever this is, 1 and 5. And then again, if it's less than 60, then it's just weapon level times 10, and it's weapon level times 10 plus between weapon level and weapon level times 3. And then otherwise times 5. Then we do the same for max damage, and it's just to check to make sure the max damage is always at least 4 bigger than the min damage. Again, it's just different categories depending, and you can get some really good high max damages, or you get some low ones. It's just to give each weapon its own kind of characteristic that you find. And then it has speed, which is going to be your attack speed, so how long it takes for an attack and how long it takes to recover. And then slash type. At the minute the slash doesn't move, but I'm going to have the slash moving according to which slash type. So the higher the slash type, the further your slash will move from the character. So it'll not be just right beside the character, it'll kind of move far away. So I think it'll make the game a bit easier to play and a bit more exciting rather than just having to run up to enemies and hope they don't hit you. So once you bump into the sword, then it checks as if the inventory is full, and if it's not, then it checks to see if there is an equipped weapon. If it's not, then it sets all those stats, weapon type, weapon level, min damage, max damage, attack speed and slash type, to the equipped weapon list. So if we go to attributes and game attributes, show game attributes, and equipped weapon, you can see weapon type, weapon level, min damage, max damage. So it's just a list with these values in it, and those get set. If you don't have any weapon, then that's set to 0. So then it sets the first weapon that you touch as equipped. But if you already have a weapon equipped, then it goes into the inventory. So you can see that replace item 1 equipped weapon. But if we have an equipped weapon, then I'll go into this loop, and then it'll add the weapon number to inventory, and then kill self. But if your inventory is full, so you have more than 24 items, each weapon, item or scroll takes up 6 spaces. So this is basically saying have you a space free. If you don't have a space free, then set first collide is equal to true. So then you just try and collide with it again, so you don't pick it up. It just means that you can't. It just basically means you can't pick it up. So that's the weapons. It's the same for the scroll, except this time it does weapon level, which would be the scroll level, and then bonus, and then we've only got really fire implemented. Thinking of fire, kind of like a laser beam, time freezing, slowing enemies, invulnerability, make you invincible, give your health back, spawn like a minion to attack for you, and then maybe a lightning attack as well. So those are some options you're going to come up with, and then add these in here. So it's going to be the type. At the minute we've only got comment fire, and that means that we've only got fire ones. And then if we look at the dashboard, actors, magic item, yeah, it was magic item stat maker I wanted to look at. And then we have the bonus, we have health, strength, luck, and it's the same, just adding into the equipped magic item once it's bumped into, or the inventory. I thought I had more in here, but I'm going to have like crowns, pendants, amulets and rings, and they're going to either add stat boosts for your character like health and strength, stat boosts to your weapon, or can't remember what I thought the other things were going to be, but I've ideas for the different items too. So that's what I've been working on the last 7 hours or so. I'll just show you it again. Next up's creating an equip and drop and trash button, so that we can actually equip the different items and drop them if we don't want them. And you can see at the minute we've picked up 2 scrolls and a crown, and then another crown, another scroll. This will be a weapon. It's because the red chests are always weapon chests. So then we have a level 1 sword, level 1 crown. It gives us gives a stat boost to health, and fire scroll level 2. So I think the different levels of the scrolls will just do different amounts of damage. So what I'm going to do is probably move these up and maybe left to the right and add the buttons to equip. So if you click the equip button, it will swap this one with what's equipped. Drop button, so you can drop something, and then a trash button, so it just deletes it, because I think that's all we'll really need. So I think this has really been more of an update video of what I've been up to. I was going to compete in the Ludlum Dare, or Ludlum Dare, or whatever it's called. I'll put a link in the description. It's like a 48-hour game dev competition. I was all up for doing it, but then the theme was you only get one, and the only real idea I had come up with was that it was like you had to build a base on Earth that was going to save Earth from an asteroid that was going to collide with it, and you only got one shot at shooting the asteroid down. But it seems that was a pretty common idea, and the first game I saw that was going to be entered, the guy had the same idea as me, and I just really couldn't think of anything that was kind of appealing to me to make. Don't know if it was just a lack of imagination on my part, or what, but I just couldn't think of a good idea, so I decided just to work on this instead. And I'm pretty pleased with the inventory screen. I'll be happier once I can actually equip the items and trash them, and then it's adding in the effects. So at the minute, the minimum damage and stuff like that, they don't actually have an effect on your attack, but get that built in, and then I think I'll make a demo and put it out there for people just to test, because that should be the kind of basic core functionality of not only just running around the dungeon but collecting weapons and items, because there wasn't really much to test at the minute. It was just running around the dungeon. It wasn't that fun. So if I give you different items and different weapons, put out a demo, I think I'll get a bit more feedback on where to take the game. So hasn't been too much actually what I've been up to. Kind of just ran through what I've done in 7 hours there in 15 minutes. I hope you enjoyed the update, and as always, if you have any suggestions for the game or things you'd like to see in it, please drop me a comment. Until next time, see ya.